And now you can see that the light is actually getting, because it's bouncing off of that Mylar, getting to the plants, right? You can see that that line of shade really isn't. Hey, it's Greg here with MaritimeGardening.com, and I'm out here trying to figure out some way to get some heat going on in my cold frames. I did an experiment in the fall, around October, November. I put some kale in the two on this one and the one over there, and I sowed some spinach over here around the 1st of October. Sorry, I'm squinting because the sun is over there. I can't even see my camera really. Hopefully the angle's right. So I've done lots of different experiments with these cold frames trying to get something out of them, and I'm not saying they can't work everywhere, but where I live, today's not a good example, but it's typically overcast, and I just don't get a lot of sun. So when I do get sun, I need to make the most of it. And I've tried putting reflective stuff at the back, but I found it's kind of cooked whatever was growing in there. So I thought of just putting a strip of reflective stuff instead of having reflective material all the way down to the bottom, just a strip around the top, right? So that way the sun is not going to be coming up underneath the plant, but it's going to be shining down on the plant, which is kind of how plants prefer to get their light. They're really not capable of handling light coming from underneath. So kind of like you, if you're out at the beach and you're in the water and walking around, you get all these crazy sunburns because the light's reflecting up off the ground. It's almost like double light from above and below. So yeah, I got some of this cheap Mylar. It's like an emergency space blanket type stuff. I bought it on eBay. It cost, I don't know, $1 or $2 or something like that to get it shipped and everything. And it was a big sheet. Like the sheet I got for $1 was probably enough to make 6 of these. Right? So at least 3 or 4 years. I don't know how reusable these are. It's extremely flimsy stuff and it tears very easily. But it is unbelievably, as you can see, reflective. Just amazing stuff. So shiny, space age really. So I'm stapling it back to my cold frames. Let's have a look at how this works out and how it changes the shadowing effect that seems to be part of my problem with my cold frames. All right, so here we are. It's the before time, and it's I don't know, around 9:30 in the morning, and it's a nice sunny day, right? Facing the south is that way. South is behind where the camera is pointed right now, and the sun is sort of up in the southeast, and let's have a look at where the light is being cast in this cold frame right now. So you can see, hopefully the shadowing isn't too bad, you can see a pretty distinct line where the sun is shining on the soil part of the cold frame. It's really it's just shining on the back 9 inches. It's really not in the front, right, in this one here. And all the other ones the same sort of thing. It's actually, you can see the actual this is the bed with the spinach in it. They're actually in the shade, and even though there's been sun for around 2 or 3 hours now, it's not on them. So my thought is by putting the Mylar near the top, it'll reflect down. So I'm going to do that, and let's have a look and see what sort of effect that results in. So I've put the Mylar on. It's been about 10 minutes since I filmed that last piece. You have to just assume that the sun hasn't really changed its position too much. It certainly hasn't changed its angle dramatically since then. And now you can see that the light is actually getting, because it's bouncing off of that Mylar, getting to the plants, right? You can see that that line of shade really isn't there. I mean, you can see a line where the sun is direct and it's sort of dappled, I guess, but there's still light getting on the leaves of those plants and getting onto the soil. So once I close the lid down, it's just interesting to see what kind of results this will have. This bed, these spinach were planted, I think, the 1st of October, and they grew for the month of October to about, I'd say 90% of the size they currently are right now. So since the end of October, beginning of November, it's now the 1st of March. These may have had 10% growth. They really didn't grow at all. But I'm curious to see how this works. At least in terms of light getting to the front of the cold frame, it seems to have worked. Now you might say, well, clearly the front of your cold frame is too high. It should be lower. And yes, that's a design flaw, and that's on me. But I contemplated, you know, taking these out and cutting them down, and if you cut this down and the lid isn't the right size, and a lot of things change by cutting them down. And I thought maybe just putting this Mylar would be an easy fix, and it's easy enough to take off, and it's, you know, like wasting things, and hopefully it's reusable. It's extremely flimsy material and difficult to work with, to say the least. You wouldn't want it exposed to the wind, but the lid's going to be down, so this is going to be sort of a windless environment. So, you know, I think I got a 6x5, 6x4 sort of sheet of this for, it must be 6x5. $1, $2 with free shipping from China. I mean, I don't know how these companies in China can afford to ship things for nothing when they cost $1. But anyway, that's just how it worked. So yeah, cheap old emergency blanket Mylar. Put it at the back. I didn't put it all the way to the ground because then the sun would be reflecting up from the ground, which it never does, and plants can only, at least in my experience, I've done experience in the past where I've had this whole back with shiny stuff, and it just cooked the plants, because I don't think plants can handle light coming up from underneath. You know, they're sort of designed or evolved to take light coming from above, not from below. It doesn't work that way. So I thought with putting a strip near the top, you think about the angle, the sun will come down this way and then bounce down like that and go towards the front. Another thing I'd like to do, it's just not warm enough today, but is to paint the front of this with some black paint or maybe some stain or something like that to darken the wood and make it draw heat a little bit better than this is almost a silver. It almost reflects light. If anything, it's kind of silvery, just the natural color of the wood. So maybe with some sort of dark staining, it might work. So anyway, we'll see how that works.